I hope everybody's well today. Looking forward to our class. We should do the chanting straight away. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from the happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, about to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, about to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, about to master them all. However endless the Buddhist way is, about to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Buddhisoha. Tayata Om Gate Gate Parasamgate Buddhisoha. Tayata Om Gate Gate Parasamgate Buddhisoha. So now we can do a little bit of meditation, initially releasing the tension from the body. So get yourself comfortable as you can. And bring your mind inside your body. And from the bottom of the body to the top, we will release the tension as we focus on different parts of the body. So release the tension from all around your feet, from your toes, the bottom of the feet, the balls, the arches, the heels, and from the top of the feet, specifically in between the toe bones, lots of tendons and ligaments and so on there. And release from your ankles and Achilles tendons. And from your lower legs, calf muscles, shins. From around your knees. And upper legs, quads, thigh muscles, hamstrings, and from around your midsection, the groin, hips and hip flexors, and the glutes. And from your lower abdomen, just up your sides a little bit, and your lower back. Further up your abdomen and sides, and to the center of your back. And release from your chest area and underneath your arms. And your upper back. Rhomboid muscles that run on each side between the spine, the shoulder blades, and from the lateral muscles, and up to your upper trap muscles that run between the neck and the shoulders. And from your shoulders, and biceps and triceps, down to your elbows, release from your forearms and wrists, hands and fingers and thumbs. And bring your focus up to your neck and release whatever tension you have in your neck from the front, sides and back of the neck. And release from the back of your head and also sides of your head around your ears and temples. And from all around your face, from your cheeks, cheekbone area. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. Release from your chin, your mouth, both inside and outside. From your nose and sinuses, eye sockets and eyes. From your forehead, make sure you're not frowning. And finally, release from the crown of your head. And now scan your body briefly again, from the bottom to the top, to see if there's any leftover tension, and if there is, release it. And now bring your focus to the tip of your nose initially. And our object of meditation, as per usual, is the breath, or more specifically, the feeling of the breath as you breathe in your nose all the way into your lungs, and then back out your nose again. Breathing in and breathing out. Mentally, all we have to do is focus on this breathing. And if the mind wanders, gets distracted, then replace it onto the breathing. Physically, all we have to do is breathe. Quite simple, uncomplicated. So breathing in and breathing out, focusing on the breath. If you want, you can add the extra technique of counting the breaths. One in-breath and one out-breath is one, and so on. But don't count past 10. And if you get distracted on the way towards 10, go back to 1 at that time. So if any thoughts arise or any mental activity arises, don't cling to it or grasp at it. Also, don't try to force it away or deny it, but simply and naturally let it go as you replace your mind back onto your breath. And if your mind becomes dull, wake it up a little by refocusing on the breath more brightly. So let's practice like this in silence for a little bit. So now we can feel very pleased with ourselves and fill ourselves with universal love and kindness, utilizing the visualization technique of filling our whole being with the white light, which represents the universal love and kindness. But really feel it as well. Feel this loving kindness altogether as one, but also you could say you are extending it to yourself. So you are radiating this loving kindness to yourself. So you are giving and receiving this universal loving kindness. And how good does it feel? Fill yourself with so much loving kindness that it now overflows and radiates outwards, initially to your loved ones, family and friends, fills them with the universal loving kindness as well. At the wish that they are happy, have the causes of happiness. They are free of suffering and free from the causes of suffering. That they are peaceful. And that also radiate to strangers. Those people that you're indifferent towards. And do likewise. And also to those people you may regard as enemies, and do likewise. And now we can extend the loving kindness beyond just human beings to all sentient beings now, whether we know about them or not. Initially around your immediate area. So all of the sentient beings that live on the land, even under the land, live in the waters, fly through the air, whether they're born from wombs, eggs, moisture, or through transformation. Extend your loving kindness to them, filling their whole being with the loving kindness. Now, gradually, further and further distance-wise, we will radiate our loving kindness throughout your whole state or county. And all of the states and counties throughout your whole country. Throughout all of the countries in the world, as well as all of the bodies of water, such as the oceans and so forth. And down to the core of the earth and to the outermost atmosphere. And then beyond this planet, throughout the whole solar system. And the whole galaxy. And the universe. And throughout infinite space. And now let's do the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious bodhicitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. So, now we will continue having or concluding the commentary on the article, Meditation and Its Benefits, Getting to Know Your Mind. We had a look at last week, about half a dozen, concluding about half a dozen different paragraphs. I'll reiterate the last couple. And you can have a look at last week's class, of course, and on the YouTube channel. And you can also review all of these classes. There's a lot of details, so you can do it at your leisure. The Buddha Dharma clearly teaches morality and a path to peace. Buddhist meditation is grounded in morality and leads to the realization of genuine wisdom and compassion. But if we live contrary to these teachings, then genuine peace based on true wisdom and compassion can never be individually or collectively realized. And so we must practice the Eightfold Path, we must practice the three higher trainings. Basing, you could say, on the practice on morality to begin with. And then, of course, on meditation practice, consistent, good meditation practice, making good effort to develop your concentration, utilizing mindfulness methods, awareness, conscientiousness. And keeping your mind clear, pure, as much as possible, we will unveil the Supreme Wisdom. So the three high trainings of morality, meditation, and wisdom. And of course, if we want to develop peace outside in the world and around us, we have to start in our own mind. We have to create this peace as self by causing it and avoiding engaging in the causes of a lack of peace or discord and discontent. Excuse me. To calm our mind, first we must live morally and therefore be free of regret and guilt. A mind free of regret and guilt is more conducive to and ripe for the practice of meditation, which enables us to develop genuine insight into the nature of our mind and the nature of reality. And then we just touched on this one last week. When our mind is calm and clear, we will be less confused, worried and anxious, and therefore able to perceive things more clearly and able to make better choices on what to do and what not to do in our lives. We will be able to deal much more clearly and efficiently with life's changes and difficulties. So when our mind is calm and clear, we will be less confused. Of course, we'll be less confused because we can perceive things as they are. And we can also perceive in relative reality that all things are impermanent. And even if we experience difficulties, we can know and remind ourselves that this conditioned phenomena is suffering. It's the nature of being unsatisfactory. So the first of the marks, impermanence, second of the mark, suffering or unsatisfactoriness. And there's no self to be found. So the emptiness of self. So even if we still, take things personally, get upset about certain things, we can remind ourselves, even if we don't understand it yet, of course, but remind ourselves, who is this? Or ask ourselves the question, who is this self that's getting upset? What is the upsetting? What's the outside phenomena that sort of sparked it off? Of course, it rises from inside. We can realize then it's inside. So we ourselves can purify it. That's a really cool thing, because if it was caused outside, or some superior being, or some other beings caused our difficulties, we could never get rid of them. We would be relying upon others or outside phenomena to get rid of it, to feel sorry for us or something. And but we ourselves cause our good stuff. We cause our bad stuff. So we can uproot the causes of the bad stuff, and we can engage more and more in the causes of the good stuff, to use slang words. We will be less confused, worried, and anxious because we will be more inclined to be living in the present moment. Remember, worry comes from thinking of the past, and anxiety comes from thinking of the future. But we are peaceful in the present moment. So when our mind is more calm, more clear, then we are in the present moment, peaceful. And so there's no worry. There's no anxiety. The mind remains unagitated. I don't know if that's a word, but it's not agitated. And therefore able to perceive things more clearly. So we can, once again, I say we can perceive everything as impermanent, and that has a nature of being unsatisfactory and has no self. And then we can also perceive that our true nature is enlightenment, that nirvana is beyond extremes, beyond ignorance, attachment, and aversion, beyond this or that. And able to make better choices on what to do and what not to do in our lives. So this relates to our thinking, our mind, also our speech, and our physical actions. on what to do, obviously wholesome, virtuous, and what not to do, avoiding unwholesome, avoiding non-virtuous. Okay. We will be able to deal much more clearly and efficiently with life's changes and difficulties. So realizing these three marks of existence, realizing the impermanent nature of all phenomena, conditioned phenomena, that is, the unsatisfactory nature of all conditioned phenomena, and the lack of self in all conditioned phenomena. And that enlightenment, when we realize our true nature, is free from all of this. Okay. So to bring about the awakening of students of all temperaments, the Buddha taught a wonderful variety of spiritual practices. There are foundation practices for the development of loving kindness, generosity, and moral integrity, the universal ground of spiritual life. Then there is a vast array of meditation practices to train the mind and open the heart. These practices include awareness of the breath and body, mindfulness of feelings and thoughts, practices of mantra and devotion, visualization, and contemplative reflection, and practices leading to refined and profoundly expanded states of consciousness. So we know this already, we ourselves in this Dharma class, we practice a few of the practices, so to bring about the awakening of students of all temperaments. We're all a little bit different. Maybe, today, we who are spending time together, we have similarities, but we also have differences. And many other people have big differences from us, The Buddha taught a wonderful variety of spiritual practices. So it could be meditation practices. It could be the visualization in meditation, the reciting of mantras. It could also be purification of the negative karma, either with mantras or visualization, or just a thought of positive regret, the thought of resolve not to engage in negativities again, the thought of the Buddha, for instance, a higher being, and also the thought of the practice and the realizing that the practice is good. The practice actually works. Could be simple as this. It could be long mantras, could be short mantras, You could visualize yourself as a Buddha, visualization, And so, what did I say here? Yeah, so I think I've covered that. A wonderful variety of spiritual practices. There are foundation practices for the development of loving kindness, generosity, and moral integrity, the universal ground of spiritual life. Now, this isn't just Buddhism. This is all spiritual life. Even people that don't regard themselves as spiritual or practicing any form of mind training or any form of so-called religion, philosophy, and so forth, okay? Love and kindness is the antidote for anger and hatred. So if you want to practice the spiritual path, this has to be a foundation, right? One of the foundations. Otherwise, you're practicing and increasing anger and hatred, which is not spiritual path. Generosity, because generosity is the door to the Dharma. It helps us to give up greed, attachment, and so on. Once again, speaking of them as antidotes right now. Of course, loving kindness and generosity. Loving kindness is one of the four immeasurables, so can be developed beyond measure. Then generosity is the first of the paramitas. Paramita means to go beyond to the other shore, so to go beyond to enlightenment. So when the more the mind is generous, the less greedy it is, less attached to this. The more the mind is loving and kind, the less hatred it has, the less anger it has. Then, and moral integrity, like I said before, morality is like the foundation of the practice, like the foundation of a house. You need a strong foundation Otherwise, the walls and the ceiling will come tumbling down. Okay, so tumbling. Okay, so the loving kindness, generosity, and moral integrity really is the universal ground of spiritual life and spiritual practice. Then there are a vast array of meditation practices to train the mind and open the heart. So obviously we practice loving kindness meditation. We practice the shamatha meditation, calm abiding, focusing on the breath to develop our concentration, eventually go beyond and realize the one-pointed concentration, samadhi. And we also have practice to develop more compassion, the tonglen or giving-taking meditation. Also, this helps us, and all of these practices help us to realize our true nature eventually, and to give up the ego, give up self-centeredness. Also practicing vipassana meditation as well. You can say that when we focus on different parts of the body, we're kind of engaging in the vipassana without judgment. There's no judging, even though we're utilizing our abilities to contemplate, understand impermanence, understand the unsatisfactory nature of samsara, understand no self, even if it's only conceptually right now. So when we're focusing on different parts of the body to release the tension, we're bringing the mind inside the body, so that helps our concentration. Bringing and realizing that we can release the tension is realizing 3 marks of existence. So this is like vipassana. And also focusing the mind, like I said, for our concentration, and eventually realizing the wisdom in the long run, okay? So we already do, different types of meditation. We engage in 2 different techniques of loving kindness meditation. We put them both together, the different types of beings, and then going on to radiating it over distance-wise, okay? And eventually goes beyond infinite space. I introduced that because of the emptiness. Empty space, unaffected by anything, even though it plays host to everything. We want a mind like this, mind vast, infinite, knowing everything but not attaching to anything. Okay? We're doing good time. So these practices include awareness of the breath and body, mindfulness of feelings and thoughts, practices of mantra and devotion, visualization and contemplative reflection, and practices leading to refined and profoundly expanded states of consciousness. So I've covered all that. Remember, mantras or prayers, verses, utilizing the speech to help train the mind. Things like mudras, like this, even simple like that, prayer mudra, or lotus flower mudra like that, This is utilizing our body to train the mind. But the mind is the chief. This is what we need to train, is the mind. But we can utilize our body and our speech to help us to do that, okay? So we sentient beings are all different in one way or another, all at different stages on our spiritual journey, our path to enlightenment. Therefore, we should seek to receive instructions on the particular methods as taught by the Buddha that are suitable to our current individual temperaments and needs, and wholeheartedly put them into practice. So in the beginning especially, don't keep switching around. You can try different techniques, but don't keep switching around. Be consistent with the techniques that you learn. There's nothing wrong with the methods, okay? How could there be? We have to practice accurately with good intentions. Then the methods, you could say, will bear fruit. Or we, in the practice, will realize the fruit of the practice, realize the results, the good results. fidgety, maybe agitated. I'm talking about mentally now. So in the beginning, maybe the breath meditation is not great for someone like that. Maybe walking meditation is needed. Maybe some Tai Chi, some martial arts, slow it down. Gardening, making a cup of tea, maybe that's good. And for these people, or these types of people, to actually focus on doing this physical action, to be able to calm the mind down, and then the breath meditation. For some others, maybe breath meditation then can help us to meditate while we are doing these other actions. So meditating on the cushion helps off the cushion, and vice versa. But it depends on ourselves. So try to be consistent, in your practice. You can try different methods, no problem, like I said before, but be consistent in continuing what you are practicing now. There's so many mantras, for instance. You can't know them all. Even if you do know them all, maybe you should stop yourself there and say, okay, I've got to just use one. Just use one syllable even to focus the mind. Okay. Yeah, so we should utilize the methods that are suited to ourselves. I think that's pretty much all for the day. The benefits of meditation are now widely known, and the practice of meditation has become part of mainstream in many places around the world. For instance, it has become commonplace for meditation to be practiced at various educational facilities, such as schools and universities. Also, many medical practitioners encourage their patients to meditate to help the healing process. These are just a couple of examples how the practice of meditation has become part of mainstream culture. So I may have a little look at that paragraph next week, but I think we're just about to finish, so maybe 20 seconds to go or something. I rejoice in your meritorious goodness, Purnima, your merits, or boon in Thai. Okay, so keep practicing well, all right? Do the best you can. Be happy with yourself. Rejoice in your practice and your good qualities. And rejoice in the rejoicing. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sangham.